Welcome back to the Dance Floor Podcast, and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Anna Harsh. We find ourselves at the threshold of a new year, and it's the perfect time to hit the reset button on our goals and aspirations. This will be a 5-part series to help you reset your new year. In today's episode, we'll be discussing Part 1. How dancers can navigate the process of reflecting back and learning to move forward. How resetting your goals will make a fruitful and inspiring year ahead. So let's pas de bourrée onto the dance floor. Stay with me. Ciao, I'm Anna Harsh, professional dancer, author, and host of The Dance Floor, a podcast that explores the power of dance in our lives through personal stories and interviews with experts. Each episode shares life lessons and advice through the art of dance. Learn how dance inspires confidence, fosters connection, and ways to improve your skills. Whether you are a seasoned dancer or brand new to the art, you'll find something that motivates you in this podcast. So grab your dance shoes and join me on the dance floor. Reflect and learn. Before we dive into resetting our goals, it's essential to take a moment for self-reflection. Reflecting on the past year helps us understand our achievements, challenges, and areas that require improvement. Join me as I explore the significance of self-reflection and identify key learnings that will guide us in setting realistic and rewarding goals for the upcoming year. So grab your notebook and pen and take some notes. It's great to go through the process of writing things down physically. It really does help you remember it. That's my first tip. It might sound old-fashioned, but the act of physically writing something down does help the mind and body connect and remember it. You can ask any dancer about muscle memory. Here are 5 questions you can reflect on to help you get started for the new year. Question number 1. What were your biggest achievements as a dancer this year? And if you're not a dancer and you're listening, what were your biggest achievements? For me, my second book was published. I celebrated my 30th anniversary with my touring dance company, Allegro Dance Company, and I was also honored by the mayor and a museum in my hometown with an installation about my company celebrating 30 years. Whew, those are some big achievements myself. How about you? What were your biggest achievements? Write it down. Number 2, what were the biggest challenges you faced and how did you overcome them this year? As dancers, well, from the physical and mental demands of performance to irregular hours of a dancer, or even the lack of support for our careers, we face huge challenges, don't we? So how do we overcome them? Well, for me, training, meditation, and self-confidence. While these are hard things to face as dancers, we are resilient and strong. But know that it's okay to ask for help. This year, I faced many challenges with my company, especially being on the road and having to constantly adjust choreography on the fly to the various venues we go to. So how did I overcome this challenge? I've learned over the years to start making choreography adaptable by having simple formations and combinations that are clear and precise. I also map out which dancer is going to what performance, and that helps a little bit with the choreography. Okay, question number 3. What new skills or techniques did you learn, and how did you enhance them with dance? Well, I'm always learning more techniques about Italian folk dances, especially because that's my focus. I'm recovering and preserving dances from Italy and bringing them back to the United States. So I learned a few new dance steps in Italy this year, and I learned that breaking the steps down a little bit slower helped me really enhance the steps and create a better piece of choreography. So breaking the steps down really helped my technique this year and really did enhance my dancing. Question number 4. Were there any areas of improvement that you could identify for yourself? How did I work towards these improvements? Well, I'm always trying to improve my choreography. And by constantly improvising and coming up with new movements, I did that. I improved. I found new ways to do simple steps or give new life to a simple port de bras. What were your areas of improvement this year? And how did you work towards them? Write your answer down. Question number 5. How did your overall experience as a dancer contribute to your personal growth and development? Being on stage is always being vulnerable, isn't it? I think I personally grow each time I perform. You're putting yourself out there. You're becoming stronger, wiser, and your experience will definitely shine on stage. People can tell if you've been on stage before. I recently had someone come up to me after a performance from the audience and tell me, "Wow, you really do stand out on stage. You can tell you are the leader and master of dance for this genre." I appreciated their feedback, but I know I'm always working on it. Here are some bonus questions you might want to think about. What did you learn last year overall? And what can you do better this year? For me this year, I learned to be more articulating with those that are not in the dance world. Really explain step by step how dance works. When going on my book tours, I have gained insight to the perspective of the audience and those that have never seen dance before, especially folk dances. And I learned how they view that dance. And they had a lot of questions. I learned that they needed more explanation to have a better understanding of what they are watching. That was a lot to learn this year. I guess we take things for granted, don't we? So that's something that I learned this year that I'll move forward with. And what I can do better is answer more questions, offer pre-talks or post-talks after our performances. I'm going to offer more workshops to explain more about the dances, where everyone can ask questions more often throughout the workshop. I often get asked interesting questions like, what goes on backstage while we're dancing or waiting to perform? So through this podcast, I'll be giving you, the audience, an insider's view of what the needs are for dancers backstage and what it's like to be on stage. I love hearing your feedback, especially from reading my 2 books. I hear ya, and I'll be answering those questions. I also learned to be louder. Oh, what does that mean? Well, putting my work in writing and really getting the word out about all the unique work and events that I do and why it's important and vital for dancers in the future. I know not everyone has heard about my dance company, Allegro Dance Company, or the amazing preservation of the authentic Italian dances that we do by performing, offering workshops, books, documentaries. It's for the next generation so that you can enjoy them in the future. So today, I'm sharing it with you. If you go to allegrodancecompany.net, that's where you can find out more about my dance company and all the intensive work we do to save these traditional Italian dances straight from Italy. Otherwise, they'll be lost forever. If you want to schedule a one-on-one with me, Anna Harsh, to ask more questions about dance or book a private lesson, or maybe you need help with choreography, you can also do that at annaharsh.com. Thank you all for joining us today. Don't forget to write down those 5 questions and answer them. Let's get your new year started off right. I appreciate you joining me on the Dance Floor podcast, and I want to shout out to one of my top listeners, Rosalie Anthony. Woohoo! I see you, girl, and I am cheering for you on your dance journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow dancers who are ready to reset their goals for an extraordinary year of dance. Again, I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and until next time, keep dancing, keep growing, and keep shining on the dance floor.